But Alex Tagliani loves to be fast here at CTMP, and we've watched him drive away from the field on occasions. Last year here, Tagliani finished in the second position without taking on fresh tires. We've seen it before over the years, once or twice, where a driver can make it to the podium without fresh rubber. It's not easy to do. We'll see if he chooses that route this season or if they come in for fresh rubber over the course of the race. Deeper through the field, I'll tell you a driver that I'm going to have my eyes on, because if anybody is owed something here at this racetrack, it is the driver of the 59 machine, Gary Clute. Clute has been in battles for the win where he has seen things disappear within about 500 feet of the start-finish line. He's also benefited from one of those mishaps. You might remember Andrew Ranger and Scott Steckley getting together in turn 10 years ago, and it was Clute sneaking through for the victory that day, but he has actually lost more than he's won that way. He's going to start a little deeper in the field than he'd like to, but just based on the NASCAR rule book, he's going to be fun to watch in that 59. Also of interest, he's racing out here today with his brother Ryan Clute in the 42, and their father Peter Clute in the 6 machine. So 3 racing Clutes in the field, and all 3 very capable road course racers. There are stories from start to finish, lots of fun to be had here today, and thank you folks so much for making the trip to CTMP on what's going to be a beautiful afternoon for racing. Another thing to note, race fans, is we're just over 2 minutes away from the command. We want to welcome people watching from all over the world on our live stream. Well, what a fantastic afternoon. 25 NASCAR Pinty Series stars. All these drivers got was a 15-minute session here this morning to shake down these race cars. And impressively enough, it didn't look like there were too many mechanical issues. Daniel Bois had some issues on the rear suspension of his 31 machine, but most of these drivers made it through that session clean. But you're going to see what amazing professionals these drivers are, as without having much practice, they're going to be able to get out here and put on a show. We've got something going on with the Trayton Lapsevich, number 20, as one crew member sprinting back to the pit box. Fuel Media Lab producer Joel Robinson going in to check things out. I believe it might be some communication issue with the driver. The biggest issue here, you do use spotters on a road course, probably not as much as you would on an oval, but pit strategy comes into play. We're used to seeing drivers peel in. It's a 51-lap race, so we're quite used to seeing drivers come in anytime after lap 11 or 12 to top up with fuel. Then they know they can go the distance, but tire strategy, that is a very strategic decision, so you want to have that communication with your driver at hand. Now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, we welcome once again Marketing Manager for eBay Motors Canada, Philippe Deleuze.
On behalf of eBay Motors Canada, I want to share how proud we are to sponsor today's race, the eBay Motors 200 NASCAR Pinty Series, and how happy we are to be here with all you fans today. Keep an eye out for the eBay Motors truck. They're handing out some fantastic giveaways. And after the race, head over to ebay.ca/motors for all of your parts and accessory needs. On behalf of the eBay team, I'm really excited to start this off. And with that said, gentlemen, start your engines.
And so the engines have been fired down on the starting grid. 25 NASCAR Pinty Series stock cars ready to do battle. 51 laps on the 2.459-mile track. Here in the broadcast booth at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Pat Gonzalez, track announcer. I'll be joined shortly by the voice of the NASCAR Pinty Series, Adam Ross, as he makes his way from the introduction area down on the grid there, back here to the tower, as they will now clear the grid and the cars preparing to roll off on their warm-up lap. In the session this morning, these drivers got a short 15-minute session, officially a optional shakedown. Looks like just about all of the drivers did get out there. There were several drivers with lap times in and around a minute and 23. The fastest of those in the shakedown warm-up was Gary Clute, who's going to start 10th back on the outside of row 5. His lap, a minute 23.135. Second fastest in the shakedown was Kevin Lacroix, who will be up there in row 1. Lacroix's time in car number 74, the adaptive one, Napa Auto Parts Dodge, a minute 23.475. Then third fastest was the pole sitter, number 96, Marc-Antoine Cameron, at a minute 23.582. Fourth quickest was the 18 of Alex Tagliani, who will come off of the outside of row 3. Tagliani's time, a minute 23.618. And then rounding out the top 5 from the shake, Howie Scannell in car number 99, a minute 23.741. And last Saturday night's winner of the opening round of the NASCAR Pinty Series was the number 20 of Trayton Lapsevich, a minute 23.779. And again, he'll come from the outside of row 4 alongside of DJ Kennington. So the top 6 drivers from the shakedown this morning, separated by less than a second, should be an outstanding run as they prepare to roll off here in just a moment. Very important public service announcement here. Would the parents of Isabel Dawson and Nora Moriarty, that is the parents of Isabel Dawson and Nora Moriarty, that were at the women's bathroom in the main paddock, would you please go and pick up Isabel Dawson and Nora Moriarty? They are with CTMP security. So again, a quick repeat of that public service announcement. A couple of young folks, Isabel Dawson, Nora Moriarty, they are with CTMP security at the women's bathroom in the main paddock. Would their parents please go over there immediately? So cars roll here on the front straightaway as the Chevrolet Camaro safety car works its way down through turn number 1. They'll get them all lined up and then prepare to go green here. 51 laps, the scheduled distance that makes up the 200, eBay Motors 200. Again, a big welcome to everyone with eBay Motors. Again, they've got that promotional vehicle patrolling the camping and infield area, giving away lots of great prizes, and they've got that draw coming up for the $250 eBay Motors gift cards. Again, from the warm-up this morning, if you can look at those times, very, very close among the drivers. Gary Clute fastest in car 59, a minute 23.135, but then Kevin Lacroix in the 74 was right there along with Marc-Antoine Cameron. Those are your front row starters. Fourth fastest was Alex Tagliani, then Howie Scannell with a nice fast lap in the warm-up at a minute 23.741, and then Trayton Lapsovich looking to go back-to-back after taking the win last Saturday night on the oval at Sunset Speedway. So cars working their way under the Chevrolet bridge as they head down into turn number 2. And the first of the cars just working through Moss Corner. So we've got cars strung out right around the racetrack. There's that familiar Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington. And Adam Ross, I went to Delaware Speedway, I guess 30 years ago. DJ was a young teenager just coming out of the karting ranks, and he had a lot of people behind him who were very supportive. They saw the talent, including the late Hall of Famer Craig Hill, who was a big DJ Kennington fan. And we'll see how he is able to do it. It would be fitting that on the 30th anniversary of his involvement with Castrol that he would be there on the podium, if not at the top of the podium.
And there's a very good chance of that, Pat. It makes me chuckle a little bit that the Castrol kid now has kids, right? That when you went to Delaware, that was the big moniker, DJ Kennington, the Castrol kid. His kids are going to be pretty good racers too. They've already started to get their teeth wet, and what a racing family.
Well, I'm sure that is going to be the case, but boy, you look up and down the lineup. We were looking at those times coming out of that short 15-minute shakedown. Looks like all of the teams pretty much got out there to turn at least a lap or two. But Gary Clute, he knows this racetrack. He's not only driven NASCAR Pinty Series cars, but a lot of regional racing and other forms of motorsport here. 1 minute 23.135. That was quick. But again, as the field forms up here behind that red Chevrolet Camaro pace car, we are just minutes away from the start. 51 laps make up the eBay Motors 200.
Makes me wonder, Pat, in that shakedown session, to turn a blistering lap, to turn a track record-breaking lap, you've got to cross some lines. You've got to be on the ragged edge. Was anybody willing to go to those lengths, or were those safe lap times they ran in that 15-minute shakedown? Because the amount of time between that shakedown and between right now, the green flag of this race, wasn't long enough to make any repairs, to even change something should you damage it. So I think we're going to see better speeds out of these cars and drivers as this race begins.
Of course, we didn't have 25 cars on the racetrack through that entire 50 minutes. So there were times where the driver had a lot of clear racetrack and could really put down a quick lap. But that's an impressive run by Gary Clute. We'll see what kind of progress he's able to make early, starting there on the outside of row number 5. And the other driver that we'll be watching here, I know I've watched him ever since he was racing motorcycles and then into open wheel cars. That, of course, Andrew Ranger out of Roxton Pond, Quebec, the GM Paye Chevrolet. Ranger certainly accomplished on the road course. He'll start alongside of Gary Clute, and in fact look for both of those drivers to make their way up through the field. Again, great to have you with us here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We'll be back here with the NASCAR Pinty Series on Labor Day weekend, September 1, 2, 3. We invite you back here to the racetrack, or if you're listening on the live stream, didn't get a chance to get out here this weekend, maybe you looked out your window in southern Ontario yesterday and saw the fog and rain and decided, I'll give it another few months. But we're right back here on Labor Day weekend. That'll be a pivotal round for the championship.
You're absolutely right, Pat. That's where we're winding down. It really can be a turning point to maintain someone's season, to crash someone's season. We've seen it all. As these drivers start to scrub their tires, these cars look beautiful out there. Some new paint schemes, some familiar paint schemes, but these teams take such great pride in how their race cars look coming to the racetrack. I can almost promise you they're not going to look like that in about 1 hour's time. When they've been out there doing battle, they're doubling up. I believe that means we're about to go green for the eBay Motors 200.
And Adam, looking off into the infield here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, I don't recall seeing that many cars parked here, so it looks like they've come out in droves with the beautiful sunshine and temperatures that are going to be into the low 20s. Again, great to have you with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to go 51 laps, the NASCAR Pinty Series, as the field makes its way off the end of the Andretti straightaway into the top of the S's at turn 8. And we'll send it over to the voice of the NASCAR Pinty Series, Adam Ross.
Pace car peels off the racetrack down pit road. The field now in the capable hands of Marc-Antoine Camarand in the white, red, and black 96 and Kevin Lacroix in the black, gold, and white 74. They work through turn 10, slowly towards the start-finish line, waiting for that green flag to be unfurled. Green flag flies. We're underway for 51 laps at CTMP. Camarand with the advantage down into turn number 1. Lacroix quickly slides into the second position, single file at the front.
Up over the bridge, under the bridge into turn number 2. And up front as they started on the front row, the pole sitter Camarand with the lead. Lacroix 70 there. Then we've got just a little bit of a gap back to the 20 of Lapsovich. DJ Kennington in the Castrol Edge Dodge runs in fourth as they run under the bridge through the left-hander at turn number 4 and up into Moss Corner for the first time.
You can see Andrew Ranger through turn 4 looking for room to work, but up at the very front, Kevin Lacroix pushing Marc-Antoine Camarand onto the Mario Andretti straightaway. We watch the snake work down that long twisting and turning straightaway. There is corners, it's not straight, but I promise you this, they got their foot buried to the floorboard in these race cars.
Under the Canadian Tire Bridge into turn number 8, the 96 GM Paye Chevrolet just ahead of Lacroix in the number 74 Dodge, as side by side, and there goes Lacroix on the inside into turn number 10, but the 96 car of Camarand will retake the lead as Lacroix had the lead there for a moment coming out of 10.
Possible problem on the 24 of Thomas Neveu. Some smoke off the back. It could have been just because he was so far out of the groove, but deep in the pack. Keep an eye on that 24 machine. Meanwhile, just that brief side-by-side battle between Camarand and Lacroix has allowed Drayton Lapsovich to close in on that lead duo. The top 2 had pulled away. They had a little bit of daylight back to third. Now we've got the top 6 or 7 cars all in a row.
That front pack consisting of about 8 cars as they work the short chute between turns 3 and 4, and now a side-by-side battle. Number 9 car of Brandon Watson making a move up as he has a fight here with the 1 car as they work up the Andretti straightaway. But up front it is Cameron and Locke, who started on the front row, continue to battle at it, but they've got company in the 20 car of Lapsevich and 17 DJ Kennington.
You know, I'll tell you what, Pat, JP Bergeron in that Prolon number 1, he was a rookie last season cutting his teeth. Here goes Kevin Lacroix to the inside once again in turn 10. They battle down the finish line. Tight quarters racing. I believe we might have seen a donut applied to the side of the 74 machine, but Kevin Lacroix takes the lead into turn number 1. New race. But I was talking, problem for Glenn Stiers. He has spun it around. You could see the exhaust come out. That car is still running. So he'll get track. And the problem we talked about with Neveu in that 24 might have been terminal. He's pulled off to a runoff area.
That is up in turn number 2. There is the 24 car parked not in a good position, and there's damage to the right front.
It's a trailing arm bracket. So when you see the rear end of a car sticking out as far as it is, they've broken a trailing arm or a trailing arm mount or a track bar mount on that race car. That's what locates the 2 rear tires. When that breaks, they wobble all over the place and the car is undrivable. So Neveu's day is done, but look at this battle at the front of the pack. They're fanned out on the Mario Andretti straightaway. When does that happen?
Full course yellow as the safety car rolls on the start-finish straightaway. The 0 car of Glenn Stiers had damage to it, but that 24 car not in a good position. Thomas Nephew. And so we go to the first of our full course yellows, working what is lap number 3 of the eBay Motors 200.
What an unfortunate break for Thomas Neveu. And I'll tell you, they educated me, because when I read that name, there is a P in his last name. I can't understand why that P doesn't need to be there. They said, pretend the P's not even there. Just Neveu. I said, well, that's fascinating. That was reason enough for me to want to talk to this young man. But he's got great credentials in road racing. He's run various different forms of motorsports and had high hopes here today. But rear suspension issues will take him out of the running. What a fortunate break for Glenn Stiers, the driver of that number 0. We talk about this so often. NASCAR Pinty Series cars have fiberglass bodies on them. They're not aluminum, they're not steel. There is no aerodynamics to these race cars. So the nice thing is you can make a mistake early in a race, Pat, make contact, damage a fender. If this happened down south in some of the top 3 touring series, it's really going to hamper your day. Here at CTMP, all it's going to do is remove one of your sponsors. That's the biggest damage it'll do.
Well, that 0 car, there you can see the left rear. He must have tapped the wall over there. Looks like he ran off the racetrack at turn number 8. Stiers, but he continues to run on the racetrack. It'll be a few minutes while they load that 24 car of Thomas Neveu up on the flatbed, and then just check over the racetrack to make sure that there's nothing there on the track. So probably a couple of laps before we're set to go back to green. Again, while we've got a moment here, that important public service announcement: would the parents or guardians of Isabel Dawson or Nora Moriarty, they are with CTMP security at the women's bathroom in the main paddock, and they would love to meet up with their guardians or parents that have brought them here to the racetrack. So again, Isabel Dawson and Nora Moriarty are with CTMP security at the women's bathroom in the main paddock. Could we have their parents or guardians go and meet up with security and those kids immediately?
The race recovery team pulling Navu's car up onto the flatbed. I love the look of that Evirum number 24. The way the numbers are on that car, the way the design is up the side of the car, doesn't look nearly as good on the back of a flatbed, Pat, but a good looking race car when it's up to speed. Pit road remains closed. I don't know that anyone would come down pit lane anyhow. Glenn Stiers might, to get some tape put on that body, but otherwise I doubt there'll be many takers, but pit road remains closed. So if you missed Sunset Speedway last weekend, Trayton Lapcevich led the first 247 laps of that 250 lap race. There was a late race restart where Alex Gannett, the driver of the Assa Abloy number 3 machine, elbowed his way into the lead in a beautiful, aggressive move. And Trayton Lapcevich, it didn't look like he was going to get the opportunity. He was embroiled in a side-by-side battle of his own, but he put himself in position to make a move out down the back straightaway on the final lap. It was a breathtaking move into turn 3 to take the win, retake the lead, score the win. What an exciting opener. And what was great about it, Pat, is we knew 7 days later we're coming to this road course event. All different race cars, same, they look the same, but they all have road course cars and they have oval cars. So the spillover was going to come to this event with a lot of excitement, a lot of drivers ready to get up on the wheel.
4 laps up on the board. We work lap number 5 under the full course yellow, as we should be going back to green here, I would think, within the next couple of minutes. And again, a reminder, we're right back here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, September 1, 2, 3. The NASCAR Pinty Series and the WeatherTech 200 will be the race that weekend. Again, it'll be another 51-lap affair as we watch the safety car rolling through Moss Corner. The drivers working the steering wheel back and forth, keeping as much heat in those slick tires. And we will see whether or not, looks like we've got another service vehicle heading down towards turn number 2. So don't think they're going to get the green this time by. It may be one more lap before we get set to go back to green, working lap number 5.
Pit road is open. NASCAR official Amy Wong with a green flag at the entry to turn 10. You almost can't see her, Pat, right along the fence line. You just barely see that green flag. That's my cheater note to know where we are in the caution, because it's been a red and yellow flag up until now. That green flag is an indication to the drivers and the spotters, hey, if we want to call our driver to pit road, we can do so right now.
Well, we will see if any of the cars peel off here as they come out of turn number 9 and head for pit road. Only lap number 5 is what we're on here at the moment, scheduled for 51 laps. Of course, following the run here in the eBay Motors 200, we will have our final race of the weekend, the FEL Sports Car Championship, presented by Michelin. So right now, the Chevrolet Camaro safety car on the start-finish straightaway. Looks like one of the cars ducks on a pit road.
That's Andrew Ranger in the GM Paillet 27. I'm going to do some speculating here, Pat. It wouldn't surprise me if they put fuel in this race car. I don't think they can go the distance, but what it would do is this 5 laps of fuel means when they come in, when the rest of the field comes into fuel, they can spend less time on pit road and maybe pass some cars coming out of the pit. So we'll see. No, they're going under the hood.
Never a good sign there. They're under the hood on the Ranger car. Andrew Ranger starting 9th on the grid. They do fill the tank, but that hood's still up. So not only fuel in the car, but investigating some kind of an issue.
Glenn Stiers brings the GSR Oshweekend Speedway number 0 to pit road. He's pitted directly behind Andrew Ranger in the 27. They'll come out with some duct tape, some bear bond to see what they can do to secure that body panel so it's not flapping in the breeze out there.
The number 24 of Thomas Navu has been taken back into the paddock on the flatbed. Stiers 0. That car's still being worked on as they peel off the strip.
Football is all about smart moves, quick reads, and being one step ahead. Same goes for the Chevy Silverado. It's everything I need in a truck. Power, range, and all the best tech. Dependability comes standard. This truck moves fast, plays smart, and plays to win. Chevy Silverado, ready for your next play. Visit your local New England Chevy dealer today.
Some duct tape to get that repaired as best as possible, but problems here for Andrew Ranger. Again, had a pretty good run in the warm-up from this morning. They were allotted just the 15 minutes.
What is it that crew person was about to pass over the wall? Did you see that? I couldn't tell what was in their hand, if it was a zip tie. You never know. There's so much going on under the hood of these race cars. Obviously, there could be engine issues, but there could also be cooling issues. There are air ducts that run to the braking system. There's air duct that runs to the radiator. So there's a lot going on under the hood. The nice thing here, the lights are out on the pace car, so they're going to double up. They'll be coming back to the green flag. Glenn Steyer's back on track with the rear end taped up on that zero car. We don't see Andrew Ranger just yet, and I can't see from my vantage point if he's still on pit road or not.
Well, the other thing here as well, just looking at the lap times early in the race, matching what they did in the shakedown session from this morning. A minute 23 and change has been the fastest laps put up so far. Ranger is still on pit road, so this has got to be somewhat of a major issue. Wasn't something they were able to fix quickly and get him back out there. So it looks like he is going to lose not only a ton of track position, but I believe he is about to go another lap down.
Yeah, if the field goes by, that'll be one lap down for Andrew Ranger. Obviously, with a free pass, you can get that back, but not the way he wanted to start this race. Another driver to watch, the 99 of Matthew Scannell, starting deep in this field. He's on the move.
It is the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, 74 Kevin Lacroix, as they will get the green flag and charge down into turn number 1. Cameron in car number 96 grabs the lead. Lacroix there in second. They open up a few car lengths on that battle for third between DJ Kennington and Trayton Lapsovich. And it is Lapsovich in that third place spot. DJ Kennington 17 is in fourth. And also moving up there sixth is Alex Tagliani.
Boy, look at those three cars. LP Dumoulin, Alex Tagliani, and Gary Kloot. Three of the best drivers in the field here at CTMP. I expect them to be on the move as the tires start to get a little bit older, as the cars start to settle in. I expect LP, Tagliani, and Gary Kloot to inch their way closer to the front of this field.
Gary Kloot with that fast time coming out of the shakedown, looks like he is making some progress up through the field as they run single file up over the top of the hump there out near the Canadian Tire Bridge. Tagliani and with that 59 of Gary Kloot right there in seventh. So Kloot has picked up 3 positions in the early going. And that front running group consists of pretty much a group of about 16, 17 cars. Not a whole lot of breaks. Here's the battle for that fourth place position. DJ Kennington runs wide, and that will allow that 47 car to go through on the, nope, DJ battles right back to retake that position from LP Dumoulin.
Man, and LP Dumoulin was out in the loose stuff. You don't necessarily want to be out on that part of the racetrack. They continue to battle side by side. Look at Gary Kloot close the difference in that 59 machine. Alex Tagliani in tow as well. It's a 4-car battle for that 4th position.
Unbelievable 4-car battle coming up into Moss Corner. DJ gets pushed out wide. Gary Kloot will dive in on the inside. Tagliani will follow in his tire tracks, and now DJ Kennington going side by side with Alex Tagliani. That is a monumental battle back there for what was the 4th place position.
Yeah, it's sort of the consolation prize when you're battling for 4th all the way back to 7th. Battling for 6th doesn't feel as good, but still Alex Tagliani takes that spot. DJ Kennington back 1 spot. Lacroix had thoughts of making a move for the lead. Now it's a 3-car battle at the front. Trayton Lapsevich keeping up with that train as we follow the snake up through turns 8, 9, and 10. Great racing all throughout.
Working lap number 8. It is a 3-way battle up front. The pole sitter, Marc-Antoine Cameron in the Chevrolet is your leader, 74. Kevin Lacroix out of Saint-Eustache, Quebec, in that adaptive 1 Napa Auto Parts Dodge, and then Trayton Lapsevich in his Chevrolet right there in 3rd. They have cleared off on what had been a great fight, gone on for 4th.
So that lead train of 3 cars, and now the battle for 4th is strung out a little bit. LP Dumoulin with the position. He has pulled away from that group. Gary Kloot pulling away as well. So everyone spread sort of equidistant from 4th all the way back to about 15th spot on the racetrack. Right now we're watching Alex Gannett in the 3 machine, Dexter Stacy in the 92. 2 of the more aggressive racers. We've got mostly aggressive racers in this series. They're all willing to get out there, get their elbows up and do battle. Here goes Lacroix to the inside. In turn number 8, Kevin Lacroix with a power move to take the lead.
Textbook move by Lacroix. He drafted Cameron up the Andretti straightaway, took a dive in on the inside, going into the top of the S's at turn number 8. And so it's the number 74 Dodge that goes to the front. The pole sitter, Marc-Antoine Cameron, 96 in 2nd. And the Trayton Lapsevich, the number 20 Chevrolet, is right there in 3rd. They've cleared off from LP Dumoulin, 47 in 4th. And then Gary Kloot from 10th on the grid all the way up into 5th. He might very well right now be the fastest car on the racetrack.
Kevin Lacroix got a little wide there in turn 2. That allowed Cameron to close in. I'll be curious to watch what Trayton Lapsevich in the 20 machine does here. If he's content to run behind Cameron and turn laps, or if he's going to make a move, wanting to keep pace with the Kevin Lacroix 74.
DJ Kennington at 18, Alex Tagliani having a good go at it as they work into Moss Corner. And looking at some other close battles going on here on the racetrack, Alex Gannett in car number 3. He's just outside of the top 10.
Andrew Ranger back on track. He is 2 laps down to the leaders. So should a caution come out, he would get the free pass right now. But as soon as somebody goes 1 lap down, that's going to spell trouble for Andrew Ranger in that 27. Kevin Lacroix continuing to lead this battle. Let's have a look at LP Dumoulin running in the 4th spot. The last lap for Lacroix, a 123.6. Last lap for LP Dumoulin, a 123.8. So Kevin Lacroix, the fastest car on the racetrack, and he is in the lead.
Working lap number 8. This 3-way fight continues with the 20 there of Lapsevich very comfortably at this point, content to sit there behind Kevin Lacroix and the 96 of Cameron, and the gap back to LP Dumoulin and then Gary Kloot rounding out that top 5.
Lapsevich a little bit closer to Cameron than Cameron is to Lacroix. LP Dumoulin in a space all to himself in that WeatherTech number 47. Gary Kloot as well in the 59, sort of occupying his own real estate at this point. Oh, problems. One into the tire barrier. That is Simon Charbonneau. And yesterday is pouring all over the racetrack.
Well, there's the water from the heavy rains yesterday. So the driver, Simon Charbonneau out of Saint-Jérôme, Quebec, in that Dodge. And we have a waved yellow here in turn number 10. And a waved yellow being shown at the flagger's stand. Is that down in turn number 1? It very well might be.
I'm not sure, but they're going to want to stop that water from flowing across the racetrack. I mean, it'll evaporate pretty quickly, Pat, but just that amount of water is not a friendly thing for these slick general tire. Will make a track surface really slippery as we look at the 88 machine.
He started 20th on the grid in that Transgestion Vehicle Transport Napa Dodge, as right now we have got a full course yellow as suspected. The flatbed truck is headed down, I believe, to turn number 1, where that 88 car went in there pretty hard. And so for the second time here this afternoon in the eBay Motors 200, we're under a full course yellow.
I will not be terribly disappointed in those goings on will be Andrew Ranger. He should get one of his 2 laps back, and then he will hope for another yellow flag as the crews are out onto the racetrack. And let's see if they pull out some oil dry to sort of stop the flow of water. They're wisely grabbing fire extinguishers first to go and check on Simon Charbonneau.
Well, Stan corrected. I thought that was turn 1. It is not. It's Moss Corner, turn 5. And does look as though a little bit of that water has dripped onto the racetrack at 5A. So the Charbonneau car up into the wall. So this will be a few minutes as we run under the full course yellow, working lap 12 of 51. Kevin Lacroix, your race leader. Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 96th second. Trayton Lapsovich in the 23rd. Those 3 drivers were well ahead of the rest of the field. LP Dumoulin 47 in 4th. Gary Clute 59 has had an absolutely solid run here this afternoon after topping the 15-minute shakedown session this morning with a low minute 23-second lap time. Clute has moved from 10th all the way up into 5th. 18, Alex Tagliani in 6th. DJ Kennington, 17, is 7th. 8th is the 1 car of JP Bergeron. The 9 car is running 9th, Brandon Watson, and then 99, Matthew Scannell, who was among the fastest cars in that shakedown session this morning, rounds out the top 10. Let's take you a little bit further back. The 3 of Alex Gannett is 11th. 12th is 92 Dexter Stacy. Ryan Clute, 42, is 13th. The 84 of Larry Jackson is 14th. And then Peter Clute in car number 6. He started right in the back row and has come all the way up into 15th. Malcolm Strawn, 98, 16th. Daniel Bois, 31, 17th. Jocelyn Facteau, 77, 18th. It is Mike Goody, 38 and 19th, and Wallace Stacy, 66. Rounds out your top 20, and it looks like we're going to a red flag.
We've gone to a red flag situation. Pit road was closed anyhow, and a number of drivers have elected to come down a closed pit road. So I'm not sure if they should be serving. No, the NASCAR officials coming along saying don't be servicing those cars under red. We're going to take a quick break for those watching on our stream, and we will be right back.
And again, Adam Ross, one of the issues with the red flag is that that 88 car hit the tire barrier, Simon Charbonneau, so hard there at Moss Corner, punched out the water from the rains yesterday, and it has flowed right down into turn 5A, so it's actually wet there in 5A. So the safety crews here putting down the speed dry compound, and they're going to dry up that portion of the racetrack. So that is the issue there with the racing surface at 5A, and it'll take them a few minutes to get that all sorted out. So we are under the red flag here. They'll get that sorted out at Moss Corner, and then get these cars lined back up to continue. We show a total of, believe 12 laps is what we're on right now. 11 laps completed, had moved on to lap 12. So once we go to the restart, we'll see exactly how many laps will remain in the schedule 51 that make up this eBay Motors 200.
It's been a competitive race so far, Pat. We've seen a couple leaders. We've seen drivers capable of running right at the front. Trayton Lapsevich able to keep pace. I believe now that LP Dumoulin got into clear racetrack and Gary Clute, I believe all of that top 5 really are quite similar in speed right now. And anyone who's not in the top 5, 6th, all the way back through to about 15th, they might just be 1 or 2 adjustments away of also being able to compete. And that's what's fun about this series. When we come here, there's quite often one dominant car, but there's 12 to 15 capable of stepping up and stealing a spot on the podium.
Charbonneau about to climb out of that race car down at Moss Corner. Driver who ran in the Nissan Sentra Cup Series, so he certainly knows Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. But a big benefit here for Gary Clute, 59, and LP Dumoulin. Dumoulin had started 8th, and then Gary Clute 10th. And through the first part of the race, able to work their way up into 4th and 5th. So they're going to be right there with Camarand along with Lacroix and Lapsevich.
I can't put words in his mouth, but Simon Charbonneau is looking, he's looking at the fluid as if to say, is that what made me crash? Not realizing that it all came out from the tire barrier from the rain, but you could almost see his body language when he got out and started walking and looked down to see all that fluid. What's this all about?
Well, he's going to walk into the ambulance. I think he's still sporting his Nissan Sentra Cup driver's suit, evidently tailor-made, so may as well use that here to race in the NASCAR Pinty Series. So they are getting that water cleaned up there in turn 5, but they still have a fair bit of work to do. And boy, that car really punched into those tire walls hard. They're going to have to straighten and weld and bend a whole bunch of bits and pieces if this car, their Road Coast car, is going to be back here for our Labor Day weekend event, the WeatherTech 200. 51 laps here on Labor Day weekend. And again, you can go to the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park website to order your tickets when the NASCAR Pinty Series makes its second stop here at the track in about 4 months, I guess, September 1, 2, 3.
You know, those tire walls are a much nicer barrier to hit than a concrete wall, but they still do a lot of damage. I mean, imagine if that was a stiff barrier that he hit. That car is broken all the way back to the windshield. I don't even want to think about what a concrete wall would have done.
So it will be a few minutes here as they get things sorted out down there in turn number 5. And again, you're carrying a lot of speed coming down through turns 4, the chute, and then uphill into turn number 5A, the first part of that hairpin complex. And they are still working there on the cleanup. That flowed right down. It is uphill, so those tire walls, once that car went in there, there was just a whole bunch of water that got ejected out of the tires from the almost 12 hours of rain we had here yesterday.
Look at the damage to the tire barrier itself. You can see where the car went in. Thankfully, it doesn't look like there's going to be any repair required to that wall. There's a lot of oil dry put down. In turn 5, there's 2 predominant streams of water. One looks to be about 3 feet wide. The other one is a couple of individual streams. These cars should be able to run through that a couple of times and mostly clear that out.
Well, I think they're going to get the power sweeper down there to try to speed up the process. They're still putting down that speedy dry compound. And again, the driver, that was a pretty hard hit going here. He'll be checked over, but the driver did climb out of the car and then walked into the ambulance. But again, we take all precautions. Most of the field's still parked here on the racetrack between turns 10 and 9, behind that red Chevrolet Camaro safety car. And I guess as soon as they've got things cleaned up there in turn 5, they will send the field on around, and then we'll have to get them lined up for the restart. There's the 27 of Andrew Ranger. As you said, he's going to get the free pass. And does he get the free pass just one lap? So he's still going to be a lap down.
Yeah, he'll still be a lap down, and that's with the free pass here at CTMP. They generally release the car, I believe, out of turn 5 as they're heading towards the restart. It's not enough time to race all the way around the track and catch the back of the pack. So the free pass car always winds up on an island out there all by his or herself on the racetrack. So they need another caution to catch the field. In the case of Andrew Ranger, he needs another quick caution to be able to get another free pass. But look at this race car, folks, as it gets pulled in on the back of that flatbed. That's as damaged as you see one of our stock cars.
Just an update on that 0 car of Glenn Steyer's, who touched the wall, I believe, up there in turn number 8. The team had used a couple rolls of duct tape, got it repaired. He's still being shown here on the lead lap, but right at the tail end of the lead lap in 22nd position. And then out of the running here today, Simon Charbonneau in car number 88, Thomas Nephew in the 24 car. His day ended over in turn number 2. And then the one driver not on the lead lap is Andrew Ranger, but as you said, he's going to get one of those laps back here once we roll the cars, once the cleanup is done in turn 5.
What a crowd assembled. The cameras have focused on the crowd a couple of times, and just amazing to see the number of people here and doing exactly what you should be doing. Some of them are tossing a football around. Some of them are just enjoying some adult beverages, sitting by their camper, able to see the race cars go by, and everybody's got a favorite spot. Pat, have you been here much as a race fan? What's your spot to watch from here?
Well, I think when I've just been a race fan, it's usually actually up at the top of turn 2. You can see them come out of 1, up the short chute under that Chevrolet Grand Prix bridge, and then all the way through turn 2 before they disappear at turn number 3. And hopefully you're within earshot of one of the speakers. I know they've spent a lot of money improving the speaker system here at the racetrack, and of course we've got our FM radio 90.7 FM. So if I was going to spectate, up in turn number 2 is probably the spot. But there are other good positions. I know they've put a grandstand. I think we're looking at it right now. A grandstand up there in turn number 3 where some of the folks are hanging out there. And then the other spot is over here in the turn 9 area. You watched them come under that Canadian Tire bridge, go into 8, 9, and then they sort of disappear through turn 10 and down the start-finish straightaway.
You know, for all the times I had been here, I'd probably been here 20 times before I really ventured out to find some place to watch. And it was one of the truck races that I sat down in turn 5 and just thought this is really cool. I mean, I know fans that'll look for where the speakers are so they don't sit anywhere near them because they don't want to listen to me, Pat. But that's the nice thing here. You can find a quiet spot like that as well and just take in the sounds of the cars as they go by.
Well, I think the only place to watch those truck races that ran here for a few years was turn number 10, because that was usually where the race was decided. So they've got the blowers working those brooms down there. They'll get it cleaned up as quickly as possible. I would think another 3 minutes or so, and then all of those service vehicles down there will clear the area, and then will be set to roll these cars back on around and get them all lined up in preparation for a restart. We were showing a total of 11 laps completed for the field, and we gave you that rundown. As we said, this red flag will be of benefit to LP Dumoulin, 47, along with Gary Clute in car 59. Both of those drivers making steady progress up through the field. And just looking at the best laps that are showing, Gary Clute, a minute 23.605. LP Dumoulin, a minute 23.459. So looks like the fast drivers right around that mid-minute 23-second lap time. So definitely Clute and Dumoulin have got the pace to run with the likes of Trayton Lapsovich, Marc-Antoine Cameron, and Kevin Lacroix. So as much as we had that great little three-way battle up front, I think we're looking at about a six-pack at least once we go back to racing, because Dumoulin is right there, Clute is right there, and also Tagliani into the minute 23s. DJ Kennington, a minute 23. He is the other driver in that group, so could be as many as 6 or 7 cars in that lead pack once we go back to racing. The red Chevrolet Camaro safety car rolling from its position here in turn number 10, and I would think we're just a few minutes away from going back to green.
Yeah, they'll have to open pit road officially at one point, so we'll have at least 2 caution laps before we get back to green. Through the miracle of radio communication, they already knew. It looks like Michael Gowdy is getting a push there in the 38, but obviously they informed the towing crew that that was going to be the case and got him rolling. Shout out to Herbie Drescher in that 53. Herbie Drescher was a longtime crew chief in this series. He worked with a number of different drivers, and now he's put on a racing helmet and he's out there behind the wheel of that 53 machine. I love the paint scheme. Even though it's not the same colors, it's the same number style as Herbie the Love Bug.
Cars working their way up under the Chevrolet Grand Prix bridge there in turn number 2 as they get lined up after going to the full course yellow. There is the 27 car.
And I saw...
I was going to say Andrew Ranger waiting. I'm not sure if he's waiting to be waved by here. Or...
Yeah, they'll put him into position, but they won't wave him by until they get to the 1 to go signal. Now, I noticed the lead lap cars were going around some of the cars that had gone into the pit, so I'm not sure if Dexter Stacy had his car serviced or Alex Gannett in the 3 had his car serviced, but they had rejoined the pack on the racetrack. They might have got let out a little bit prematurely, but I'm sure the officials will show them to the back of the field where they should be lining up, but we'll follow that as we go along.
Well, looks like the Glenn Steyer's crew had lots of red duct tape because it's all over the left rear quarter panel of that car, but did a nice job of staying on the lead lap as far as we can tell on our last scoring update, 22nd among the 25 cars that started.
You can see these drivers fairly aggressively working through that oil dry down in turn 5. They want to do it as much as they can now before they go back to green to get rid of any of the debris on the racetrack. It's very slippery to drive through, so better to do that under yellow. They can spend the whole straightaway scrubbing their tires, getting the debris cleaned off. Now, I do see a green flag in the hand of Amy Wong down here in turn 10. And it's just about time that we would see some drivers and teams roll the dice, come in and top up with fuel and try to go the rest of the distance.
Lights are still on that Camaro pace car as the field winds its way under the Canadian Tire Bridge into turn number 8. And as they swing through 9, we'll see how many drivers turn left and head for pit road, or turn right and head for pit road. And it looks like it'll be quite a number of those drivers. The 27 of Andrew Ranger stays out on the racetrack, as does LP Dumoulin in the 47, but looks like the vast majority of cars have come on to pit road. The 84 of Larry Jackson stays out as well, but I think only Dumoulin 47, Jackson 84, and Ranger 27 stays out on the racetrack.
They're going to jam these cars full of fuel. Kevin Lacroix into his pit stall first. Marc-Antoine Cameron gets in second. Cameron's doing things differently. They're going for tires.
And it looks like 74 Lacroix, the gas can is still attached. Now here comes the crew. They're going to run over there and finally get it unhooked, but I'm not sure if there'll be a penalty there for him. There very well could be, and Lacroix does now roll on pit road, but he pulled out of his pit box with that gas can still attached.
I have learned, Pat, not to question officiating too drastically, but I believe it is a penalty to leave your pit box with equipment still attached to the car.
There's the 98 car on pit road, about to head back out. Strawn in the 98. That car, of course, driven by Sam Fellows. Malcolm Strawn out of Picton, Ontario, the Curb Records Chevrolet. See where he had been running among the drivers.
Daniel Bois in that Bolton GM RAP4 sponsored number 31 machine. They had the hood up on that race car. They just put the pins back in, put the hood down. Remember, he had a stellar run going here last season, and he ran out of fuel late in the race, and it cost him a top finish out there in the 31 machine, so he'll rejoin the field.
Malcolm Strawn, 98, has been running in 16th, as we should be rolling back to green here, I would think, within a couple of laps. The lights have been turned off on the Camaro pace cars, so next time by, after this lengthy red flag situation, we'll be going back to green, and hopefully it's green flag to checkered flag for the rest of the way here in the eBay Motors 200, as we completed 11 laps before the red flag. That would mean 40 laps.
Football is all about smart moves, quick reads, and being one step ahead. Same goes for the Chevy Silverado. It's everything I need in a truck. Power, range, and all the best tech. Dependability comes standard. This truck moves fast, plays smart, and plays to win. Chevy Silverado, ready for your next play. Visit your local New England Chevy dealer today.
This is what remains in the race, unless we run into some kind of a time constraint, and then they'll look at not going the full 51 laps. But as far as we can tell, 11 in the books, 40 to go to make up the 51 that comprises the 200 here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Camaro safety car heads for pit road. Here comes your front row of Cameron 96, Lacroix the 47 of Dumoulin, and the 84 of Larry Jackson. Those were two of the drivers who did not pit as we go back to green. And now the charge down into turn number one. Dumoulin 47 with the lead. Up into second is Larry Jackson 84. As they work up under the bridge and into turn number two. 59, Gary Clute is right there gunning for that third place spot.
Alex Tagliani looked to be in a great position to make a move for second, and then Gary Clute looked to be in a better position. So little this way, a little that way as Larry Jackson maintains the spot, and Gary Clute completes the pass on Alex Tagliani. Let's see what they do down through turn four towards turn number five. This should be a big passing opportunity, and here goes Clute and Tagliani.
Contact there between 59 Clute and Tagliani. Larry Jackson getting pushed to the outside, and here comes DJ Kennington in car number 17 up into the fifth place spot. So they shuffle the deck through Moss Corner. LP Dumoulin, your race leader, as they work up the Andretti straightaway. 59, Gary Clute into second. Alex Tagliani is third. Then DJ Kennington, 17, runs in fourth.
Up through turns 9 and 10, LP Dumoulin enjoying about a 20 car length advantage over Gary Clute as one peels off the racetrack. I believe that's Marc-Antoine Camerand and a piece of strategy. He will likely come in, top up with fuel. Remember, they already took left side tires. He was the one driver that took tires on that pit stop while everybody else was filling up with fuel. Some strategy being played by Robin McCluskey, the crew chief on the 96.
So Dumoulin, who was one of just 3 cars that did not come onto pit road during that red flag situation, is opening it up here off of turn number 3. He has moved about 10 car lengths up on the 59 of Gary Clute, 18 Alex Tagliani in third, and then DJ Kennington, 17, holding on to that 4th place spot.
Flag affected my timing and scoring here. I've got 2 means of keeping up with timing and scoring, and neither one of them are working particularly well right now because I'm curious what exact lap that we're on. But that's all right. We will call what we see on the racetrack because that'll give us all the information we need as we watch the field streak down towards turn number 8. Dumoulin still with that healthy advantage over the rest of the field. Clute up to second, Tagliani third, Kennington fourth, and rounding out the top 5 is that beautiful black and yellow 99 of Matthew Scannell.
I believe that should be lap number 13 going up on the board. Here is the battle. Lapsevich moving around the 84 of Larry Jackson. So Lapsevich on the march. Meanwhile, 47 LP Dumoulin, your race leader, but we're having positions being swapped all the way through the top 10. Up front, it is LP Dumoulin, your race leader, and Larry Jackson, 84, who was second briefly on the restart, being shuffled back there by several drivers.
Larry Jackson right now is the meat in a Clute sandwich. Ryan Clute on one side of him, Peter Clute on the other side. 2 very similar looking race cars. Legendary Motor Car sponsored number 42 of Ryan Clute just ahead of Larry Jackson, and the Legendary Motor Car Company number 6 of Peter Clute. That's the father of Ryan and Gary Clute, just behind Larry Jackson.
Up the Andretti straightaway, your front running 5 cars with a bit of a breakaway, Dumoulin, and then this 4-way battle involving the 59 of Gary Clute. Alex Tagliani, 18, is right there, followed in 4th by 17, DJ Kennington.
Leader onto pit road, LP Dumoulin in the 47 machine peels off the racetrack down pit lane.
And that will hand the lead over to Gary Clute in car number 59. Started 10th, has come all the way up into the lead. Alex Tagliani in second, DJ Kennington now moves to third.
Try to get a look at where Kevin Lacroix is running next time they go by, because he was part of this pack, so he must have got pushed back. As Herbie Drescher, the driver of the number 53, is... Oh, and that's a rookie mistake. He came onto pit road and he made a hard right as if he was headed to the garage area, and I think he quickly realized, nope, that's not where I'm meant to be. So he gets onto pit road, and now he'll go down for service, probably take a load of fuel in that 53 machine.
Again, without the benefit of the electronic timing and scoring system, as unofficially we're on lap number 15, and it has been quite a battle here since we went back to green following the red flag situation. The 47 car of LP Dumoulin did have the lead, but he came on to pit road a lap ago. And now we look at the battle that's going on the racetrack. 59 Clute, your leader, on the start-finish straightaway. 18 Tagliani in second, 17 DJ Kennington in the third place spot.
And Kevin Lacroix is not that far ahead of this lead pack in the 74 machine. So quite a turn of events as the 31 of Daniel Bois goes by. Not sure if something is going on with the exhaust of that 31 machine, but it sounds a little bit different than the rest of the race cars as LP Dumoulin at the back of the pack starting to make his way back through after that pit stop.
Good run for Dumoulin down the start-finish straightaway. He was certainly among the fastest of the cars as the lead pack, the leader, Gary Clute, into Moss Corner. DJ Kennington is right there in the Castrol Dodge third. And then just picking up the fourth place car here at the moment. So it is 4 cars up the Andretti straightaway.
Yeah, Matthew Scannell in fourth in that 99. Nitro 54 variety, the sponsor on that race car. He's given that thing a whale of a drive out of the Larry Jackson stables.
Then we've got the one car that has had a great run here, J.P. Bergeron, in that 5th place position. So he is a little bit further back, leading the next group of cars, along with Lapsevich, who is in the 7th place spot. So Trayton Lapsevich now running 7th, but up front it is a quartet of NASCAR Pinty Series cars up into turn number 2. Clute 59, Tagliani 18, 17 DJ Kennington, and of Scannell. Side-by-side battle here going on for 5th. Bergeron in car number 1 trying to hold off that number 3 car that is all over him for the position as they head to turn number 4. Alex Gannett turning in a great run. The former Carter Alex Gannett right there and battling inside of the top 10.
Gannett gets around the one of J.P. Bergeron. Trayton Lapsevich not quite close enough to get through that spot as well. We'll see if Alex Gannett able to pull away in that 3 machine. You can see how far they've fallen back from that lead quartet. So you've got 4 at the front and then another 6-pack behind them. So many competitive cars here this weekend. So many new combinations of drivers and numbers, different looks. What a great show as the lead 4 come by our position. Clute still leading the way by 2 car lengths over Alex Tagliani.
And still working on the electronic timing and scoring as one of the cars has come onto pit road. Looks like that is Trayton Lapsevich. So Lapsevich on pit road. He had been running in 7th. Up front, it is still Gary Clute, 59, your leader. 18, Alex Tagliani, 2nd. 17, DJ Kennington, 3rd. 99 is the car with a solid run here as well, that number 99. And then it is the 3 of Alex Gannett. Scannell, 99 in 4th. Gannett right there in 5th as they work up into Moss Corner one more time.
You know what surprises me, DJ Kennington, that Castrol Edge 17, he had fallen back on the initial start. It looked like he was being overtaken, didn't quite have the speed that he needed, but boy, he's running right there with that lead duo. They've gapped him just a little bit through the early corners of this lap, but he is still right there with Gary Clute and Alex Tagliani.
And here is Scannell all over DJ Kennington into turn number 8. Kennington will turn back the bid by Scannell to grab that 3rd place spot. This is a war going on here for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. They're on the start-finish straightaway, coming back to the line. And Clute, as we suspected, was quickest in that 15-minute shakedown this morning into the minute 23s. He is your leader, followed by Tagliani, then DJ Kennington, and then the 99 of Howie Scannell in the 4th place spot. Then we've got the gap back to Gannett, Alex Gannett in car number 3, holding on to the 5th place spot.
Scannell seeing the same thing I'm sure we're seeing, the 2 leaders driving away, so he wants to get around Kennington, try to see if he can keep pace with those 2 leaders, but running quickly here at CTMP is one thing, being able to make passes completely another thing entirely, as we watch Scannell down through turn 4 into turn 5A, right up on the back bumper of DJ Kennington the last time he made a move down the end of the Mario Andretti straightaway, but he got a little sideways there exiting the turn, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to mount a challenge in the draft.
Should be running unofficially lap number 21, I believe, is what we're on here at the moment. And again, still working on the technical difficulties, trying to get the electronic timing and scoring to the announcers here in the booth. So we're having to do it old school with the old pen and paper and an old lap chart, as DJ Kennington is got a battle on his hands here for third. Scannell in the 99 car all over him as they work down into turn number 1. But up front, there is that breakaway between Clute 59 and Tagliani 18. And then Alex Gannett in car 3 still holding on to that 5th place position.
At any point now, I would imagine some of these front runners could peel off into the pits to follow suit with some of what the others have done on an alternative strategy. One of the fun parts of these races at CTMP is trying to keep up with who's on what strategy. I believe that's Michael Gowdy making a turn onto pit lane in the 38 machine, a part-time racer here with the series. But at the front, it continues to be a couple of blue and white cars. Gary Clute in the 59, Alex Tagliani in the 18. And is that Trayton Lapsovich just ahead of the leaders? I'm going to have a look. Just coming down through 8, so we'll see as he comes up into 9 and 10. But there's a car about 20 car lengths ahead of the leaders.
Well, he did come on to pit road and has headed back out. The front running 4 cars had been 4 right together, and then Clute and Tagliani both picking up their pace, and they pulled clear of that Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington and the number 99 car of Scannell. And then we've got the gap back to the 3 of Alex Gannett, rounding out your top 5.
So Trayton Lapsovich wanting to stay on the lead lap in that 20 machine, and he's got the pace to stay out ahead of Gary Clute, but I don't think it can be too comfortable for any race car driver to be able to see the race leader in your rearview mirror, whether they're right on your bumper or 100 yards behind you. You don't want to be able to see them in your mirror. That's just too close for comfort. So we continue to watch cars click away the laps. Matthew Scannell still unable to find a way to get around the Castrol Edge 17 of DJ Kennington. Absolutely keeping pace with the driver, running a solid 4th position right now. DJ getting off turn 5 very well, so that gives him a good launch down the straightaway, and Kennington always had stout horsepower under the hood of that number 17 Dodge, and today is no difference, making some good smoke down the backstretch.
And again, Scannell has done an amazing job. He was back in 25th starting position, and he is all over DJ Kennington here for 3rd. So what had been a quartet of cars up front is broken apart into a couple of dandy 2-car battles. They work up across the stripe into turn 1. It is the 59 of Gary Clute, who started 10th, has come all the way up into the lead. Alex Tagliani, who was 6th on the grid, running 2nd. DJ Kennington in 3rd. DJ Kennington started in 3rd, but Scannell, back in 25th position on the grid, has come through here into the 4th place spot. They work off at turn 3. And now on to the short chute, headed for the left-hander at turn number 5. And it does look as though that car of Lapsovich is just ahead of the lead pair as they come through Moss Corner.
A little bit of traffic out there. Glenn Stiers. It always seems like the 0 and the 66 find each other on the racetrack. Glenn Stiers in the 0, the 66 of Wallace Stacy, a couple old buddies, as Michael Gowdy into the tire barrier, into the Muskoka Mod Center number 38 machine. And that car does not look to be running. Corner marshals making the walk down to chase car driver. Brandon Watson ducking onto pit lane, so some savvy crew chiefs calling their drivers onto pit lane, possibly anticipating a yellow flag coming out. We don't see that just yet. Brandon Watson, they're going under the hood in that 9.
That is not good for Brandon Watson up front, down through turn number 2. Clute 59 is still your leader. Gary Clute out of Halton Hills, Ontario, ahead, and now we see the waved yellow flags have not gone to the full course yellow as yet.
No, they're full course. So if the blue flag is waving in the corner, that's a local situation. If the yellow flag is waving anywhere, then it's a yellow flag over the whole racetrack. So this will bunch the field together, give us an opportunity to see who's running where, and hopefully we can catch up with timing and scoring and find out where we are.
Yeah, that car was not in a good position, so we do go to our, I believe, our 3rd full course yellow. I think we did go full course yellow and then red flag in that earlier situation. So 51 lap schedule for the eBay Motors 200. I think we're right around the half distance, somewhere around 24, perhaps 25 laps. So under the full course yellow, this is going to bunch up the field. And again, hopefully we can get the gremlins with the timing and scoring system sorted out so we can give you more of a full field rundown. We had that terrific battle going on up front. Your leader, 59, Gary Clute, 18, Alex Tagliani in 2nd, 17, DJ Kennington 3rd, 99, Matthew Scannell 4th, and I believe Alex Gannett still had that 5th place position locked down. JP Bergeron in the 1 and 6th. And then I think coming back up into 7th was the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. Again, that unofficial as we sort out the timing and scoring, but the Chevrolet Camaro safety car has picked up the race leader, 59, Gary Clute, as they make their way through turn number 3. It'll be a few minutes as we get things sorted out here on the racetrack. Get that number 38 car of Michael Gowdy, the Muskoka, Ontario rookie driver, away from the side of the racetrack, and then get things lined up and ready to go back to green.
We'll take the opportunity to have a quick break, and we'll be right back with you here from CTMP.
So once again under the full course yellow here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in our eBay Motors 200, the field making their way off the end of the Andretti straightaway in through the S's as the cars run a single file. We'll see whether or not the cars head for pit road. Pit road is open, and it looks like we'll get a bunch of takers come on to pit road. Gary Clute stays out on the racetrack. Alex Tagliani has come on to pit road. DJ Kennington, 17, will move up into 2nd, and Howie Scannell in car number 99 will take over 3rd. But there were several drivers who did come on to pit road, so this is going to shuffle the order as Adam Ross tries to make his way up into the timing and scoring booth, and we'll hopefully have access to the timing and scoring monitor up there and be able to provide you with the up-to-date rundown as we try to get as creative as possible here with the timing and scoring, at least that goes out on the various platforms and streaming services. The 74 car of Kevin Lacroix, one of the cars that came onto pit road, he heads back out onto the racetrack, and once all these pit stops are concerned, we'll go to Adam Ross to give us a full field rundown. Again, 18 Tagliani was also one of the cars that came onto pit road. So 59 Clute, your leader, 17 DJ Kennington in second. The 99 of Howie Scannell moves up into third. And then we will reset the rest of the order for you here in a few minutes. Again, following our eBay Motors 200, we still have our FEL Sports Car Championship Canada presented by Michelin, race number 3 of the weekend, featuring the GT4, TCR, and TCA classes. That'll be a 40-minute run from 3:20 until 4 p.m. here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
All right, we got some connection with timing and scoring, so let's give you a rundown. We know that it's Gary Clute in the 59 leading the way. Scored in second, DJ Kennington in the 17, the 18 of Alex Tagliani, the 99 of Matthew Scannell, with the 98 of Malcolm Strawn scored in fifth. As I take a quick look up at the running order on the racetrack, it's similar.
Tagliani did come on to pit road, so he is not up there. There he is in line back in about 10th position on the racetrack. So as we had a number of drivers come in, this has really shuffled the running order, but no doubt about your race leader. It's that white and blue number 59 of Gary Clute, as we're still under the full course yellow. DJ Kennington 17 in second, and 99 Howie Scannell back there, or pardon me, Matthew Scannell. Want to say Howie, but it's Matthew Scannell in the 99 there in third.
What we can say is they pull Michael Gowdy's car up onto the flatbed. There appears to be 18 cars on the lead lap. Now, I did not see a free pass car behind the caution car on this yellow flag, which is strange. We see Andrew Ranger down on pit road. By my quick look at timing and scoring, Andrew Ranger would be the beneficiary of the free pass, but by virtue of coming down pit road, he waives that opportunity.
Well, looks like finally our timing and scoring is up here and operational once again in the tower, and it is Gary Clute, your leader. We are showing looks like 26 laps completed. Gary Clute, your leader. DJ Kennington in second. Third is Matthew Scannell. Fourth is the 98 of Malcolm Strawn. Then Marc-Antoine Cameron, the pole sitter, car number 96, is up into fifth. Sixth is 20, Trayton Lapsovich. Seventh is the 77 of Jocelyn Fecteau. Eighth is 84, Larry Jackson. Ninth is the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. And then rounding out your top 10 is Alex Tagliani. 11th is Alex Gannett in the 3 car. 47 LP Dumoulin is 12th. JP Bergeron, car number 1, is 13th. Wallace Stacy in the 66 is 14th. 15th is Dexter Stacy back in the 15th place spot. The 0 of Glenn Stiers is behind him, and then Daniel Bois 31, followed by Ryan Clute, And then we've got Herbie Drescher in car number 53. And then Andrew Ranger, who I believe is the last car there in the rundown. So that is from the timing and scoring that we finally got that other monitor working here in the tower. Although some of the other platforms not giving us those times, but we'll hopefully refer to those. So Adam, finally, the announcer's nightmare is when you lose your timing and scoring, and you got to do it old school, but that doesn't give you a full field rundown like you get with the electronic timing and scoring. So back under a full course yellow, and this one shaping up to be quite a finish. Gary Clute, DJ Kennington, not sure either one of those drivers are going to be able to go the entire distance.
Time will tell, and we know some drivers. I've got to report the 99 of Matthew Scannell not planning to come down pit lane to take on tires, so he should be able to maintain that track position out there in the 99 machine. The question is, what kind of speed will he have? The one thing with the General tires, they don't seem to slow down very much as they go through their lifespan. Andrew Ranger back down on pit road. They're going to put left side rubber on that GM Paillet number 27 machine. Once again, every time Andrew comes into the pits, Glenn Stiers comes in and parks right behind him. I can't quite see what they're doing to the Stiers number 0. Maybe they're putting right side rubber on that 0 machine. Ranger's car down off the jack. He'll head down pit lane. The lead car still scrubbing those tires behind the pace vehicle. So we've not yet got the 1 to go signal, but that generally happens just as they enter onto the back straightaway.
Marc-Antoine Camirand right there in 5th. Looks like he has worked his way back up into a solid position, had been pretty much been one of the fastest drivers throughout after starting here on the pole position, still under the full course yellow. As we show, looks like 29 laps completed. So next time by, it'll be 30 going up on the board. That'll mean 21 to the checkered flag. And Gary Clute, 59, has been absolutely brilliant. You had the feeling, and again, he was gridded 10th based on last year's championship points. But when you took a close look at the times coming out of that shakedown and test session this morning, they only got 15 minutes, but Clute by about 3/10 of a second or so was quicker than the other 6 or 7 drivers who also had lap times within about a second of where he ran. He's certainly an accomplished road racer, knows this track, and has done a great job of coming from 10th on the grid all the way up into the lead. And DJ Kennington, I know there's a lot of folks from Castrol, Canada here at the racetrack. They're going to be cheering him on as DJ celebrates 30 years with the Castrol brand as his major sponsor. He is right there, and it seems like he has gotten better as we've gone through the first half of this race. Pace car will be pulling off. They'll be going back to green as they come through turn number 9 and get ready for the restart.
The field doubled up. Gary Clute sets the pace as the race leader. He determines when they fire coming to the restart. Matthew Scannell hot on his heels, right on the back bumper of that number 59, slowly towards the start-finish line, jumps on the loud pedal. We're back underway in the eBay Motors 200.
Gary Clute will lead him down through turn 1. DJ Kennington will tuck right in the number 2 spot. One of the drivers running real wide there. It is Matthew Scannell, 99, into the 3rd place spot. Here comes Marc-Antoine Camirand, car number 96. The pole sitter is moved up into the 4th place spot. Keep an eye on Camirand. He is on the charge. And then the 20 of Lapsevich has taken over the 5th place position on the racetrack as they work down through turn 4. Here comes Scannell on the inside of DJ Kennington. He gets up on the curbing, and that is going to push DJ Kennington wide. Scannell will tuck back in, but now it is the 96 of Cameron who has moved up into second.
Scannell locked up the front brakes. It caused the car to get up on the rumble strips. Got into the right rear corner of DJ Kennington, knocked Kennington wide, so that move cost Scannell and Kennington. Big opportunity, however, for Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 96 and the 20 of Trayton Lapsevich as they slipped.
Football is all about smart moves, quick reads, and being one step ahead. Same goes for the Chevy Silverado. It's everything I need in a truck. Power, range, and all the best tech. Dependability comes standard. This truck moves fast, plays smart, and plays to win. Chevy Silverado, ready for your next play. Visit your local New England Chevy dealer today.
To run second and third, respectively.
Field winding its way off of turn 10, Clute by about 10 car lengths. Then Cameron 96 and the 20 of Lapsevich in second and third. Across the line here in the fourth place spot will be Matthew Scannell, DJ Kennington in fifth. Sixth is Malcolm Strong, and then the 3 of Alex Gannett. That front running pack tightening up. Also looking at the 47 of LP Dumoulin. He is inside of the top 10.
Alex Gannett races to driver's left of Malcolm Strong. They were side by side through turn 2 and into 3, but Gannett squirts by to take that position, so move the 3 one spot closer to the front. Matthew Scannell, he's got to keep his foot on the throttle, because I don't believe DJ Kennington will be too thrilled with the move Scannell pulled on him. Kennington is a professional. I wouldn't expect any silly business, but still I think Scannell will feel a little bit better if he can keep daylight between himself and that 17.
Contact there between J.P. Bergeron and the 84 of Larry Jackson as they work up the Andretti straightaway. Working lap number 32, so less than 20 to go in the eBay Motors 200. Your race leader, 59, Gary Clute, followed by a Marc-Antoine Cameron, 96 in second. And then it is Trayton Lapsevich right there in the 20 car in third. Matthew Scannell, 99 is fourth, and DJ Kennington in the Castrol Edge Dodge rounds out your top 5.
Drivers keep poking their nose out, so there's a lot of gamesmanship. Even when they're not there to make a move, sometimes they'll poke their nose out. So the driver ahead of them has to look in their mirror. They get a little bit distracted. That can force them into a little mistake. LP Dumoulin is playing that game right now with the 98 of Malcolm Strong. Looking to the inside, looking to the outside. He wasn't quite close enough to make a move, but as he got Strong looking in his rear view mirror, he's able to stick a nose up underneath. He's still looking for racing room as they head down towards turn number 4. LP Dumoulin trying to get that WeatherTech Dodge closer to the front. He's got to go. He's got an aggressive Kevin Lacroix right behind him, and there you go. Malcolm Strong drives a little too deep into turn 5, but he recovered nicely.
Some great racing going on all the way through the field. Looking at one of the drivers here, Alex Gannett is up into 6th. Malcolm Strong in the 98 car there in 7th. 8th is LP Dumoulin, 47. Then Kevin Lacroix, 74. And J.P. Bergeron in car number 1 rounds out your top 10. Leaders out of turn 10 on the start-finish straightaway. No change. Clute has opened up a little bit of ground here on the rest of the field. Gary Clute, definitely the fastest car on the racetrack right now. Lapsevich in car number 20 is all over the 96 of Cameron in the battle here for second.
There was contact in turn number 10. Kevin Lacroix into the right rear quarter panel of Malcolm Strong in the 98. Strong got off into the dirt. That car was all sorts of sideways. He was able to gather it in. But that was a oh my moment for Malcolm Strong as we continue to watch Trayton Lapsevich keep the pressure applied to Marc-Antoine Cameron. A gap back to Matthew Scannell in the 99 and DJ Kennington in the 17. Another little gap back to LP Dumoulin in the 47 and Alex Gannett in that number 3. If you wonder whether Alex Gannett is a great road racer or not, he was victorious last year in the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, one of the most prestigious road races of the season.
So it is LP Dumoulin up into 6th. Gannett in car number 3, pushed to 7th as they battle up the Andretti straightaway. And then behind that pair is Kevin Lacroix, then Matthew Malcolm Strawn, and then rounding out your top 10, still J.P. Bergeron. Up front, Kloot continues to set the pace, but it looks like things tightened up there, Adam Ross, as they work down into turn number 1, a little bit closer among those front-running 3 cars.
Cameron and Lapsevich definitely closing the gap on the race leader. Matthew Scannell has pulled away just a little bit from DJ Kennington in that 17. That was the breathing room he really wanted, to be able to focus eyes forward through the windshield. Here's a driver focusing forward, Cameron in the 96, turning some great laps out there in that GM Paillet Chevrolet.
Coming up on lap number 35 of 51 in the eBay Motors 200. Great to have you with us here, ladies and gentlemen. Pat Gonzalez along with Adam Ross in the announcer's booth. And those tuning in here on our live stream, this has been a battle all afternoon. We've had a number of full course yellows and the one red flag. Hopefully we'll go all the way to the checkered flag, because this one really starting to shape up as Cameron and Lapsevich are closing on Gary Kloot into the top of the S's. It's down to about 5 car lengths among these top 3 drivers.
Yeah, they're still back there about 5-6 car lengths behind the race leader, so within striking distance. Here goes LP Dumoulin to the inside of Kennington in the 17 through turn number 10. Kevin Lacroix had a thought of going to the inside. Had to think twice and back out of it. He was trying to make a move on Alex Gannett in that number 3.
35 laps goes up on the board. We've got 16 to go. Gary Kloot, your race leader, by about 0.7 of a second. Second is Marc-Antoine Cameron. Then the Trayton Lapsevich number 20 machine, Matthew Scannell 99, and then LP Dumoulin, your new 5th place runner, getting ahead of DJ Kennington, who is down into Cyril Dodge. As DJ battles, it is the 3 of Alex Gannett, then Kevin Lacroix 74, and then the 1 of J.P. Bergeron rounding out your top 10. Just behind them, it is 18 Alex Tagliani, who has come all the way back up into the 11th place spot. And again, at the front, it continues to close. Gary Kloot, your race leader, under the Canadian Tire Bridge, into the top of the S's. The front-running 3 cars locked together in a monumental battle as they swing in through turn number 9. And this will be even closer coming into 10. It's down to about 3 car lengths as Cameron closes on the leader, coming to the line to complete lap number 36.
Alex Tagliani swings wide out of turn 9. He'll make the pass of J.P. Bergeron through turn number 10. Make no doubt about it, Tagliani, a man on a mission right now. Gary Kloot sees the front end of that 96 getting bigger and bigger in his rear view mirror. They're running very similar lap times, but Cameron picking up a car length and a half each and every lap.
And again, that'll move Tagliani in car number 18 up into the 10th place spot as the race leader, Gary Kloot, down through turn number 4. He'll bring that chasing pair with him into Moss Corner. And right now, there's only about 6 car lengths separating the front-running 3. Then another great 3-way battle involving Matthew Scannell, 99, 47 LP Dumoulin, and 17 DJ Kennington.
The snake running down the Mario Andretti straightaway. Marc-Antoine Cameron is pulled away just a little from Trayton Lapsevich. He is now stalking the race leader, Gary Kloot, as they work through turn number 8 up into 9 towards 10 to complete another lap. Same distance between these 3 leaders as what we saw last time by. Matthew Scannell under attack from the WeatherTech 47 of LP Dumoulin. Dumoulin tried to dive into turn 10, couldn't make that move. He had to fall back in line.
And it looks like Dumoulin may be the fastest car here on the racetrack at the moment. If he can get around and close on this front-running trio, we could have 4 cars coming down to those final laps. We worked lap number 38, 37 up on the board, and it has been a war up front among those drivers.
One of the better races I can remember watching here, Pat. We've got battles all around the racetrack. Dexter Stacey, a little bit of contact with Malcolm Strawn in the 98. Poor Malcolm Strawn, that back bumper has been under attack by a few different racers, but Dexter Stacey sees the field driving away. He wants to make his move. A little further ahead, you see JP Bergeron in that number 1. We'll put our focus back on Stacey. Keeps the pressure on through turn number 5. He'll try to draft down the long back straightaway, but Strong gets a better launch off of the corner and pulls away from that number 92.
And that battle between those two drivers is for 13th position on the racetrack. Meanwhile, up front, it is closed up. This is the closest these front-running 3 cars have been in several laps. Clute 59 just hanging on. 96 Cameron.
Trouble in turn number 10. Sorry, Pat. Scannell goes around. They made contact with LP Dumoulin, and he sits driver's side exposed. Blue flag being displayed in turn 10, which is a signal to drivers there is something wrong locally on the racetrack. We have not gone to a full course yellow, as Matthew Scannell trying to get that car pointed the right direction in the 99. He pulled ahead a few feet and then came to a stop. Now once again he gets that car spun around and he will take off. He was in the top 5. LP Dumoulin had a look to the inside. They made contact into turn 10. We'll have to watch that WeatherTech 47 to see if there's any damage to it, because they did make a second significant impact coming off of that spin.
Well, Matthew Scannell getting the worst of that battle for 4th, as LP Dumoulin was aggressively trying to get around him and get up there and catch those front-running 3 cars. Meanwhile, on the Andretti back straightaway, they crest the hill under the Canadian Tire Bridge back into turn 8. 59, Gary Clute by just a couple of car lengths. It is Cameron in car number 96, and then Lapsevich in the number 20. Again, Lapsevich, the winner at Sunset Speedway just a little over a week ago, trying to somehow double up, and you get the feeling that Lapsevich may have a little bit more in reserve. Up into that 4th place position is the Kevin Lacroix. So Lacroix, car number 74, up into 4th. 17, DJ Kennington is 5th. 3, Alex Gannett is 6th. LP Dumoulin with that contact with Scannell down into 7th. Tagliani, 18, is in 8th. Daniel Bois, 31, is 9th, and JP Bergeron in car number 1 rounds out your top 10.
Gary Clute obviously very fast in that 59, but it just looks to me as though that car is very loose. Like he swings that car through the corners. When you see him up through 8, 9, and 10, it doesn't look as planted into the racetrack as the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron or the 20 of Trayton Lapsevich. I want to watch this time when he comes through the S's, because that's going to be real challenging. A car that's a little bit loose now is only going to get looser and looser as laps go on. We're getting down towards the end, but there is still 11 laps left to go.
Well, next time by, it'll be 40 laps going up on the board. Those front-running 3 cars swing out of 9 into turn number 10, and the trio of NASCAR Pinty Series cars rocket down the start-finish straightaway across stripe under the Michelin Bridge and down into turn number 1. Still as close as they've been. And then we've got another big freight train of cars led by Kevin Lacroix, 74, DJ Kennington, 17, Alex Gannett, 3, all fighting for positions inside of the top 5. Fantastic to watch these 3 racers.
the car control they have, the focus they have to be running basically identical lap times. You know they're pushing these race cars about as hard as they can. You can't pace yourself. You can't hold back in these battles. And as they pull away from the rest of the field, these are three equally matched cars doing battle in the top three. And then you get back to the fourth position, Kevin Lacroix. He's made his way back through a lot of traffic to get to fourth, but he's going to need some help. He'd need the assistance of a yellow flag to be able to close all the way in and battle those top three.
And LP Dumoulin does have damage to the fiberglass bodywork on the right front of the car. Also, Alex Gannett with some damage, so he got in contact with somebody out there. Right now, it is DJ Kennington running in that fifth place position. Then the three of Alex Gannett and 47 LP Dumoulin as they work their way on around. Those front running cars go through lap number 41 completed, working lap 42, so less than 10 to go. And who is going to make a move, and when are they going to make that move, and where on the racetrack?
Watching Cameron, he turns down into the corners a little bit more aggressively, so he'll hit the apex a little bit sooner than the 59 of Gary Kloot. But Kloot really able to maintain his speed, keeping his momentum going, so as he exits these corners, Cameron not able to mount a challenge. That's about as far out in front as Kloot has been in the last 5 or 6 laps as they go down into turn 5 with 3 car lengths back to Cameron as he pulls away down the backstretch.
And Kloot appears to get a great drive coming out of 5B as he works up the Andretti straightaway. Now they're going to be coming up on some slower cars in the next lap or so, working lap number 42 of 51. They're under the Canadian Tire Bridge off the end of the Andretti back straightaway into turn 8. And Kloot just sliding that car out of 9 and into 10. And again, they'll come up on Herbie Drescher in the 53 here as they work that into turn number 1.
They'll likely encounter Drescher between turns 1 and 2. Kloot goes down into turn 1, hits the apex of the corner. He's right up on the back end of Drescher, but didn't look like he had to slow down at all. He was able to swing to the outside past the 53. Drescher doing a great job to not affect the leaders of this race.
And it looked like Lapsevich got the worst of it. Here's the battle for the lead. Contact into turn number 3, and Cameron has taken the lead from Kloot. He left the door open, and Marc-Antoine Cameron, the pole sitter, has gone to the front.
It wasn't significant contact, but Cameron definitely drove down into turn 3, let the car drift up into the 59 of Kloot. We've watched Kloot lead a lot of races here. He has lost them in different ways. He was the benefactor one year when Scott Steckley and Andrew Ranger got together in the final corner. Let's see if this might play into the favor of Gary Kloot. Running in second for a little bit. Let's see if he can size up the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, or see if Cameron's able to pull away from the driver of the 59.
Kloot closing in at turn number 8. It's still just a couple of car lengths. Lapsevich in the 20 car that I think got hung up a little bit getting around the Drescher car, but he has come back up right there in third, and it's still anybody's race up front. There's the 53 car that's gone a lap down. Lacroix 74 in fourth. Battle here for fifth between DJ Kennington 17 and LP Dumoulin 47. They'll go side by side down into turn 1.
Now that Gary Kloot's back in second, he's doing exactly what we saw Cameron do when he was in the second spot. He's making his turn in a little bit sooner than the race leader, cutting those apexes a little bit tighter. But as he pushes that race car, his is looking very loose. He's really having to correct that car as it comes off the corner. And if you get loose too many times, you're just going to spin those rear tires and lose track of that race leader.
LP Dumoulin, car number 47, up into the 5th place spot in spite of the fact he's got some bodywork damage. Has been able to get around DJ Kennington. DJ now into 6th in the Castrol Edge Dodge as they prepare to run up the Andretti straightaway, working lap number 44. 43 completed. Those front running 3 drivers, and again they're going to encounter a slower car into the S's.
Off of turn number 8 towards turn 9, they close in on Wallace Stacy. Wallace gets bumped from behind. The 3 leaders right together with Wallace Stacy in the 66. Gary Kloot to the inside of Cameron, down towards turn number 1. Can he make this move stick? Cameron drives it deep into the corner. Kloot still with his nose to the inside.
Kloot right there. Here comes Lapcevich looking for an opening. Lapcevich dives in on the inside of Gary Kloot into turn number 2. As they battle side by side, Kloot swings wide. Here's Lapcevich trying to drive it in on the outside into turn number 3, but Gary Kloot will not budge an inch. He'll hang on to that second place spot, but they're just sliding those cars through the turns.
Lapcevich was sideways through turn number 3. It didn't look like he ever lifted. He drove through it, but they've got to push it now. Cameron has built up 6-8 car lengths advantage over this battle for the second spot. Kloot missed 5B just a little bit, slid up the racetrack. They're going to have to try to draft their way back to the race leader.
And while they battle there for second and third, that's allowing Cameron to pull away. Marc-Antoine Cameron by about 8 car lengths now. Under the Canadian Tire Bridge, off the end of the Andretti straightaway, into turn number 8. Kloot going deep into the turn. He'll pick up some of that real estate as they swing back through turn 9 and into 10. They have closed it back up, but here comes Lapcevich. Gets a great drive off of the corner. They were right up on the rumble strip into turn number 1, and 20. Trayton Lapcevich will grab second. Kloot shuffled back from first to third in a couple of laps.
Gary Kloot's car just looked a little bit too loose. He can't get back to the throttle, the back end hanging out. They've lost a bit of ground to Cameron, but now Trayton Lapcevich up to second spot. Can he close in? He's got 6 laps to do it to try to make his move. The Lapcevich name has always been synonymous with success here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but since the NASCAR Pinty Series moved in, they have yet to capture victory.
Alex Tagliani has moved around DJ Kennington. So with just a little bit less than 5 laps to go, Marc-Antoine Cameron, 96-year leader, followed by 20, Trayton Lapcevich in second, 59, Gary Kloot is third, 74, Kevin Lacroix in fourth. Fifth is LP Dumoulin, 47. Sixth is the 18 of Alex Tagliani. Seventh is 17, DJ Kennington. Eighth is the 3 of Alex Gannett. Ninth is 1, JP Bergeron, and Dexter Stacy in car number 92 rounds out your top 10.
A little bit of history in the NASCAR Pinty Series. Last season, these 2 drivers did battle on a couple of occasions, and it got very physical. I know Trayton Lapcevich was a little upset at the end of Eastbound Speedway's race down in Newfoundland with the way that the 96 raced him. Now, racers don't forget, but these drivers are professionals. They've got to put some of their emotion away. But the fact that things have gotten physical before for these 2 drivers tells me that might be the card Trayton Lapcevich can play to get up there and run physical with our race leader, Cameron.
Watching these 2 drivers, they continue to clear away from the 59 of Gary Kloot there in third. As we come up on lap number 47 next time by, it should be just 4 laps to go. The 96, Marc-Antoine Cameron, started on the pole position. Lapcevich, who was back there fourth on the outside of row 2, is some 5 car lengths back. Somehow he's got to try to close it up.
Last lap, Trayton Lapcevich was 0.2 of a second faster than race leader Marc-Antoine Cameron. If he can do that, he was 0.7 of a second behind. If he can continue to do that, he will catch the race leader. But Cameron really able to turn up the wick. We'll have a look at the watch this time as they come by the stripe. Cameron continues to lead. and he was a little bit quicker that time, Dan Trayton-Lapcevich, half a tenth of a second quicker. So they're swapping better laps back and forth. It's going to be the driver that can keep that focus and get the most out of their Pinty Series stock car that's going to get this win this afternoon.
Also looking at a battle here between 74 Kevin Lacroix and 47 LP Dumoulin. They're just a couple of car lengths apart off at turn number 2, heading up into turn 3. Now Lacroix stretches it out a little bit. That is the fight for 4th and 5th. And then it is Alex Tagliani in 6th, DJ Kennington in 7th, as the front running 2 cars into turn 5B. And it does look as though Trayton-Lapcevich has picked up maybe just a car length or 2. He's going to have to draft that number 96 car up the back straightaway. Next time by, it'll be 48 laps in the books. We'll have just 3 to go.
The biggest cheerleader right now on the track is not Jeff Lapcevich, Trayton-Lapcevich's father. It's Gary Clute. He wants to see these leaders battle. He wants to see the 20 of Trayton-Lapcevich catch that 96, because at this point, his only hope is the 2 leaders doing battle and getting into it, because he has lost the pack. He's about 20 car lengths back in the 3rd spot. His only chance right now is if the leaders get aggressive. Speaking of aggressive, LP Dumoulin looking to the inside at Kevin Lacroix through turn number 10, not quite able to get his nose where he needed it.
LP Dumoulin all over Kevin Lacroix for 4th and 5th. Then we've got a battle going on there for 7th and 8th involving 17 DJ Kennington and the number 3 of Alex Gannett. The 1 of JP Bergeron is 9th, and still Dexter Stacy, car number 92, rounding out your top 10. The 74 of Lacroix and the 47 of LP Dumoulin. Out of turn 3, that is the battle for 4th and 5th behind that trio up front of Cameron, Lapcevich, and Gary Clute.
Dumoulin's WeatherTech 47 showing some signs of battle. A little bit of damage on the front end, a little bit of damage on the back end, but that's nothing to be surprised about here at CTMP. These races often get physical. They'll continue to keep the pressure on Lacroix. Alex Tagliani a little too far back to be able to mount a challenge. It'll be 2 laps to go this time by as Cameron works off of turn number 8 towards turn number 9. Trayton-Lapcevich right in the crosshairs. Well, Cameron is in the crosshairs of Lapcevich. We can now count the gap in car lengths, and it's about 2 car lengths between 1st and 2nd.
Well, this one is a long way from over. Less than 2 laps to go, as Marc-Antoine Cameron by just a couple of car lengths over Trayton-Lapcevich. Lapcevich looking to go back-to-back here after winning at Sunset Speedway last Saturday night on the oval. Would love to put another win here on the road course at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. He still has some real estate to make up, and a big slide there by Cameron off at turn number 3. This is going to bring Lapcevich a little bit closer as they work down the chute and up into Moss Corner.
You said it, Marc-Antoine Cameron sliding that race car just a little bit. Exactly what we saw Gary Clute start to do as Cameron was hounding him. Now it's Lapcevich hounding Cameron. He's right up behind him in the draft down the long back straightaway. It'll be 1 lap to go. The white flag will be displayed this time at the stripe. This one's going to come down to the wire. Lapcevich swings to the inside down the backstretch. Not sure if it was just to get in the rearview mirror. No move to be made there, but he's right in the shadow of the 96.
You get the feeling that if Lapcevich has got a trump card, he's going to play it on the last lap. Here they are into turn number 10. Lapcevich a little bit wider line. He'll tuck in and get the drive down the start-finish straightaway as they come to the line. There's the white last lap flag out.
He has Cameron driving defensively. Cameron went between turns 9 and 10, stayed to the inside of turn 10 to not open the door. But what that did, it allowed Lapcevich to maintain his momentum. He is as close as he wants to be to make this move. And Pat, I think you're absolutely right. He does not want to make his move until it's time.
Out of turn number 3, Lapcevich took a look on the inside. It's just 1 car length separating the pairs. They work the short chute under the bridge at turn 4. Down through the chute for the final time, up into Moss Corner. He'll tuck in right up on the rear bumper. Now into 5B. want to keep it as close as possible and draft that number 96 car all the way up the Andretti straightaway. He's going to try to do it, I'm sure, at the end of the Andretti straightaway, going into the top of the S's.
It all comes down to this, race fans. Lapsevich right on the back end of Cameron as they work down the back straightaway. They'll go under the Canadian Tire Bridge into turn number 8. I believe the winning move is in turn 9 or turn 10. Lapsevich right behind Cameron as they work into turn number 9. Right on his back bumper. He looks to the inside. Contact! Contact through turn 10. Cameron off the racetrack. Drayton Lapsevich executes the bump and run to perfection at CTMP. Cameron comes home second. Clute comes home third. Holy moly, what a race.
For a sec, I thought I was looking at a truck race here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. So Drayton Lapsevich goes back-to-back on consecutive weekends. He takes the win here in the eBay Motors 200 with a drive up into, and there was definitely contact between the 96 and the 20. And the two drivers pulling up alongside of each other, but what a run by this young driver, and some discussion here going on between Lapsevich and Cameron. Obviously not happy with the contact in the very last corner here in turn number 10. And Cameron up on the speed curbing, and Lapsevich able to duck through on the inside to take the win in that number 20 Camaro, Chevrolet Camaro, as he savors every moment and coming into the weekend as the championship points leader. He's going to add to that points total with an absolutely brilliant run here this afternoon at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Marc-Antoine Cameron started on the pole position, one of the fastest cars throughout, and then Gary Clute may have led more laps than anybody else out there. Gary Clute, his car wasn't quite as strong late. He will bring it home here in third. Then up to the line for fourth was Kevin Lacroix in car number 74. 47, LP Dumoulin in fifth. Sixth will go to 18, Alex Tagliani. Seventh is the 17 of DJ Kennington. Eighth will be Dexter Stacy in car number 92. The 1 of JP Bergeron in ninth. And then Daniel Bois in car number 31 rounds out the top 10. So a thrilling finish to the NASCAR Pinty Series eBay Motors 200. The cars heading on to pit road, but here is Drayton Lapsevich as he will savor a victory lap here at the track. Don't go away. We've got our FEL Sports Car Championship race coming up at about 3:20. So again, all weekend long, thanks to eBay Motors, they have had this contest giving away some fabulous prize packs, including those $250 eBay Motors gift cards. And if you're within earshot, hopefully you can hear us here, we have the names of the 3 eBay Motors contest winners. You're asked to go to the entrance to the marketplace to claim your prize. Greg Williams, you're the first of our winners. Susan Farmer, you're also a winner of the eBay Motors prize pack.